쉽게 토론하자.
Hi, my name is Yoren. Hello, I'm Sarah.
What's up, guys? I'm Alex.
Hi guys, I'm Steve.
Steve. Please note that we tried our best to share as accurate information as possible. But if you happen to find information that is incorrect, please do let us know. So Alex, let's start with you first. What do you think is the key secret to South Korea's success in combating COVID-19?
In my opinion, so-called K-quarantine and social distancing are the main factors. And today, I'd like to talk about social distancing in Korea and other countries. In Korea, in a line, we have to make a space at least 2 meters. In UK and US, they also keep at least 2 meters distance. Australia, 1.5 meter distance. And France or Italy, they're even more or less 1 meter distance.
So the compulsory distance that each country should keep is more or less the same. It's between 1 meter to 2 meter.
Yeah.
Okay, so Steve is working at the gym currently. And so Steve, do you think the keeping 2 meter distance is actually being implemented?
People do know that they have to keep 1 to 2 meters, but actually the machines are placed within 2 meters, so it is kind of hard for people to keep that 2 meter rule. Before going into the gym, people have to write down visitors list and they have to measure their temperature. Even though people wear the mask, it's kind of hard, practically difficult to follow that 2 meter rule inside the gym.
Okay, so I guess it's not really effective. I think you guys get fined if you're found that you're not keeping the 2 meter distance.
If one of our members get infected with coronavirus, the infected guy and the owner have to pay a fine. That's the reality.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Recently, Google released social distance data on COVID-19 using users' location data. And I found some interesting facts there between Korea and other countries.
So the report is called Mobility Report.
Yeah, mobility report. And user here mean that people who agree Google to track their location by GPS. One of the big difference is in transportation and the workplace.
Okay, what's the difference?
Korea, there is little change in using transportation and workplace.
So when you say little change, that means it's almost the same as before the pandemic and after, right?
Yeah,
Which means their mobility hasn't decreased.
it has decreased in late March, but people started to move around as of the first week of May.
Okay, I guess so, because in March it was really severe. So that time I think people were like just staying at home.
But Germany, US, or Japan, they don't even go around or go to workplace these days, unlike Korea. I think transit stations and workplace are related to each other. Public transportation is highly developed in Seoul, and most people take subway or bus when they go to workplace. And shift to everyday life quarantine, as of May 6, many seem to have used public transportation.
That's true. I think it seems like we are almost getting our normal lives back, especially when we go to work and just moving around the city, right? But why is it the case that in other countries that you mentioned, they have less mobility?
This is because government from other countries, they limit the lockdown policy, so that's why they cannot go out even though they want to go out, in Korea.
Okay, then Alex, what is your personal opinion on South Korea's performance?
Although people in the world, they praise Korea as K-quarantine, I think in Korea, people are indifferent of walking around. And we can see the case from Itaewon Club. Since the COVID-19 has not completely resolved, the everyday life quarantine should be implemented well.
Okay, thank you for sharing your perspective, Alex. Now, Yerin, can you share with us what you think the key factor is to South Korea's success?
The government responded to the COVID-19 by tracing the source of infection through immediate epidemiological investigation, such as CCTV or or credit card record.
That's true. I think it has been very effective, but at the same time, there is like this privacy concerns.
It might be a problem for some people sometimes. For example, recently there are mass infection in the gay club, you know?
Yeah, we've all heard about it.
And the confirmed cases' personal information is open to the public. So people might think recently people who had a positive from the COVID-19 test might be a gay. So they will be misunderstood.
That's
as
true.
gay. Yeah?
Yeah, that's true. As in, like, they would not wanna, disclose their sexual preference.
So in Korea, social discussion about protecting one's privacy is insufficient. And on the other hand, in the West, including the United States of America, they had a lot of heated discussion about their private life.
Right, I think that is a very, very good point. As in, like, our society lacks in the awareness of the importance of privacy. Okay, in addition, for me, I think the key to successfully preventing the spread of infection is the early detection. To do so, South Korea has actually done lots of diagnostic tests while expanding the test facilities at the same time. So in the beginning of February, the testing capacity was almost like 2,000 people per day. But as of April, it exceeded more than 20,000 people a day.
Oh, I think that's very productive.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I think we shouldn't forget to mention the drive-through testing station. Like Spain, they actually implemented seeing the South Koreans screening test.
And where are they placed?
Oh, I think you can find it in like city halls, or I've seen in front of hospitals, but there wasn't like drive-through, it was more of like walk-through screening
Alright.
stations.
That's why I feel so grateful for this privilege.
Same.
자,
Last but not least, Steve, can you tell us more about how we control the foreign entrance?
Okay. I'll tell you guys through my brother's experience. My brother came from United States a few weeks ago, and each province and city provide a quarantine system for overseas entrants. Free COVID-19 tests to those people. To be more specific, government provide free accommodation for about like 2 or 3 days.
Oh, to wait for the test result?
Yeah, yes it is. And the city take those people to their home with the arranged transportation, which has no possibility of getting infected. And when they stay at home, they have to report their condition, whether they feel cold or a headache, with their application on the phone. After the whole total 2 weeks of quarantine, if they don't feel any kind of symptoms, they can just go off free.
I really like the monitoring system because they can actually tell if you go out of the house, and also if you decide to leave your phone and then go out. To prevent that case, they actually call you randomly. So I think the monitoring system is actually very well in place.
And also the cost, that's very amazing. In the United States, I heard the cost of test is very expensive. So
Yeah.
those who don't have enough money, they just stay at home even though they feel sick.
Right.
I think we actually have heard enough for South Korean government's measure. Let's talk more about how other countries and other governments are acting on this. Anyone?
I'll give you an example of Sweden.
Sweden!
Okay. Do you guys know Sweden?
Alps!
Big summer blowout.
Compared to other European countries, Sweden has chosen herd immunity. This idea is to slowly infect like more than 60% of the population, and they build a national immune system. But it is questionable because the mortality rate maintains about like 11 to 12% in Sweden, which is surely not a low rate compared to Korea or other European countries. Like Korea's mortality rate is about like 2.5%.
Yeah, I think even for the UK, like in the beginning, the UK government actually mentioned herd immunity as a strategy. But after like a few days or a few weeks, I think like the max after 1 week, they realized how serious it is, and then they changed the lockdown measure. Okay, what about you guys? Do you know any other policy that's been implemented by other governments?
Yeah, of course. I think you guys all receive money from government. Actually, not only Korea, other countries also provide so-called stimulus check or the cashable check to the citizens.
And do only citizens receive the grant?
Actually, permanent residents can receive the emergency relief grant from governments too. There are different words, countries from countries. Like for example, as I mentioned, in Korea, we say in English emergency relief grant, and in United States, they call it stimulus check. For example, the US pays $1,200 per adult and $500 per month for children with an annual income of less than $75,000.
So unlike South Korea, it's not that everyone receives it, because in South Korea everyone receives it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And moreover, those people who earn more than $99,000 a year, they cannot receive subsidy.
I think that's quite fair. Although in South Korea we had lots of discussions and disputes over whether to provide it to bottom 70% income percentile to providing it to everyone. But the government has ended up giving it to everyone.
Korean government says that those people whose income are high, they can just donate or decide not to take, but we don't know whether they will take it or not.
Okay, to wrap up, today we looked at the different measures taken by governments across the countries, and then I think we talked a lot about South Korean governments and how they succeeded in combating COVID-19. If you guys have any questions on South Korean policy, and if you have any things to add on to our discussion, please let us know and comment below. 오늘도 쉽게
토론했당!